my small business, it began with an Etsy shop and an idea, but I hadn't thought anything through at all. I really just jumped right in, and I made a lot of mistakes. It took a long time for me to build my brand and become the successful store that it is today, successful brand that it is today. I still have a lot of growth that I need to accomplish, but for me, I'm exactly where I want to be right now. So today I'm going to take you through the top, I think 6 points it is, things that you need to do if you are thinking of starting a very small business, maybe an Etsy shop, something like that. But before you start, you want to get these things in place to save yourself a lot of time, and this can actually save you years. Think of a product and an audience that you have in mind. So you want to make sure that you not only have a product, like I had handmade soaps and other skincare, but you want to think about to whom you're going to sell this product. If you don't have anybody in mind that you're going to sell to, then it can be a really daunting process to actually get all of these things together, get your product made, have it something that you really love and you're proud of, and then all of a sudden it's crickets and nobody's buying anything from you. So there are some specific things that you can do in order to make sure you have your audience and that you have some sales coming in when you first start.
For example, what woman is going to buy this Soul Candy soap, the purple one on the bottom that's a little more boutique ready, compared to the more crunchy granola? So is it the woman on the top left who's more fitness oriented? The hippie chick who is at the top right? Is it the high fashion woman on the bottom left, or the working mom on the bottom right?
Okay, so let's talk about doing what you love and why you should choose something that you love. Oftentimes people will think, all right, there's a product and a need, and I'm going to start a business based on that, and there's really nothing wrong with doing that. But the reason I suggest choosing something that you think you'll love to do is because you're going to be at this for quite a long time. In order to make it successful, in order to find your audience, in order to do all of these things and jump over all of these hurdles, you're going to want to love what you're doing. So I happen to love making soap. I love making these creams. It's not just the making of the products that I love, it's the connecting with other women. I'm creating self-care for other women. That's something that I have always wanted to be able to do, and I really stand behind. It's something that resonates with me because it's a need that I had. So this is a product that works really well for me. I have had many obstacles to face, a lot of financial obstacles. You're going to try things that are going to fail. You're going to be talking to an audience that just isn't there. I mean, case in point, starting this YouTube channel, I'm not really talking to anybody right now because it's still pretty new, but it's something that I really want to talk about. So it works for me. The product kind of allows me to do a lot of different things with it. I like doing the social media for it. I like creating the products. I like designing the branding and everything that goes along with it. I love collaborating with other women, and all of these things help me to keep going when there are hard times, and there will be hard times. So you'll face a lot of different hurdles. Again, sometimes no one's going to be listening when you're talking. Sometimes no one's going to be buying when you think something should have been a huge success. You will have financial uncertainty because some months will be better than others, and you don't know if this thing is going to succeed. You will have letdowns from people that you thought you could count on. There are so many things that are just hard. We're going to get into the systems that you have to have, legal and accounting, and all of those things can be pretty burdensome as well, paying taxes, all of these things. So you have to enjoy what you're doing as you're doing it, and I would just 100% recommend that you choose something that you love. And a way you can think about this, if you're pretty new, you don't want to go backwards like I did and think of the product first without the customer. Think of something that that isn't necessarily a problem. Okay, I know a lot of business classes are going to tell you to think of a problem and then think of a solution, and then that product is the solution, and you can then have an audience for it. But think of something that has been important to you, maybe since you were a kid. Going back to childhood has really helped. I always played school. I wanted to be a teacher, but I also played store. So what did I end up doing when I got older? I became a teacher for 20 years. I opened a store. And I really enjoy being able to do things like this, where I can combine and help teach other business owners things that would have helped me in the beginning. So what is something that you love doing? Did you love building tree forts? Do you still love like tree houses and tiny houses and things like that? What is there something that you could do to help in that tiny house movement? Maybe you are good at design. Maybe there's something you could design, or maybe there's a product that you think will go really well into this tiny house or even like RV life. Because maybe you love camping. So maybe if camping is something that's always been kind of a part of your soul, is there something that would make camping easier for women, or camping easier for kids, or camping easier for men? All right, so kind of go back and dive deep into where your thoughts were and your passions were from the time you were a kid, and then think, what is it that I could do to help someone in this line, in this area, in this environment, and then what is it that would work for that? So the next thing I want to talk about is testing your idea. So once you have this idea down and you think that it could work, it's really important to kind of test it out on a group to see if there is a desire for this product, to see if you would have an audience before you put a lot of time and money into it. So social media really allows us to do that these days. I'll give you an example of doing this, which I think was pretty brilliant. I'll actually give you two examples using Facebook. A girl that I knew growing up, just a Facebook friend. I know her sister. I noticed that on her regular Facebook page, she was posting a lot of cakes that she was making. She was learning to make these cakes. Like, it was right at the very beginning as she was deciding that she wanted to learn to do cakes with fondant and decorate them and so forth. So she just kept sharing them. She kept sharing all of them, and as she got better and better, people were really commenting and then saying, well, wait a second, where can I get one of these? And over time, I want to say it took a good year or so for her. And then once she really, just started to develop her skill set, people were ordering them, and friends see friends ordering them, and then they start posting pictures, thanking her for what a lovely cake. I've gotten 2 of them so far, one from my grandmother and one from my mom. Actually, I think I got 3, and then she also made me one for my son's 21st birthday. She's gotten really good, and she never had a website. She never had really anything as far as like payment processing. It was all just PayPal or cash when you see her. She didn't have anything set up for shipping. She just did it all by herself, and you would meet her. So she grew this wonderful local audience. So now she has a website. She just got her website. It's probably about 1.5 years later, but her audience was already set. She didn't have to go after and try to find people. So that's one example. Another friend did the same thing as a photographer. So she's also a teacher, and she wanted to learn photography, and she started teaching herself and just kind of taking pictures for free for friends and family and posting them online, and people were like, gosh, these are really good. I want to get a family portrait done. Can you do mine? So that just began to build and build and build. And to this day, she doesn't have a website or anything, but she's booked every weekend just because she decided to share. So I'm not saying that just sharing and doing it that way is the way you'll build your business overall, but it certainly is a wonderful way to get started, because then you can get people's emails. We'll talk about that in a moment too. And you're building this clientele, you're building this local base, and by the time you do get a website, if you've got a way to connect with people and you can announce it on social media or send people an email, then you can say, all right, now I've got a website, you can book through my website. And word of mouth is really powerful. So test it out with as many people as you can. You can do this on Instagram. You can do it via any social media channel you'd like. And it could also just be asking a friend to have people over so you can show them things. But I really think just using social media these days is the way to go.
Capturing emails is so important. You can use a system as simple as MailChimp. It's free if you have under 500 contacts. You can schedule emails. You can begin to collect your audience so that you can communicate with them before you launch. You can create a landing page and a pop-up form for signups. It's super easy. How do you get emails? You need to give them a good reason to sign up. Offer a sign up for a giveaway. The King Sumu app is really great for this. I've used it a few times and plan to use it again. You can send them a small freebie product. Send a lotion sample if you're making something like that, or a coupon for at least 40% off of a product. It's important that you offer at least 40%, or people aren't going to want to sign up. They're not willing to just give their emails away for nothing these days. Tell them you're going to start a website, and if they're interested in what you have to sell, your product, then they will go over there and want to be the first to know. Just be creative with it and get those emails. What to do once you have the emails. Make sure you send them an opening sequence or a welcome email, followed by another email giving them information about where they can get information on your products. Maybe it's something about your website that's coming, just some teasers. You want to send something regularly enough, but not too often, that it keeps them engaged. Ask for ideas. People love to give their opinions. It keeps them engaged. When you launch, you won't launch to crickets, you will launch to an audience. Next is branding. I can't stress enough the importance of making sure you have a cohesive brand. So hire somebody to do this. You can go on Etsy and find somebody who can do this for you. They'll create a brand board. These are some examples from Etsy and from Pinterest that I pulled. They'll help you create a logo, a color scheme that makes your brand flow and be easily recognizable. The point is, you want everything to kind of match and synchronize. And so when people see things on social media, they'll know that it's your brand. If they see it in a store, they know that it's your brand. And you don't want to just buy any kind of logo or have like a template logo, which is what I did when I first started and had to redesign everything. You can see the difference in these logos here. It really needs to mesh with your brand. So everything needs to go together. Even the font in the writing, so people recognize who you are when they see you and remember you.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you about the next part of this video series, which is creating a product line that is, and it doesn't even have to be a product line, it can be a single product that is kind of cohesive. So when you finally decide what you want to do, you want to try to stick with that one thing. That one thing can be a single product, or it can be a group of products. But I would encourage you to think, for example, okay, let's just start with this. I make soap, okay? And when I started with soaps and creams, and I'm just going to kind of talk to you with these ridiculous gloves on. I bought the wrong gloves while unboxing my Adventure Bound soap today. But when I started with soaps and I started with creams. And those two, to this day, have been my best sellers. I know that they're going to sell. That's kind of what my business is known for. However, I went through a time as I made mistake after mistake in every single one of these categories that I'm talking to you about, where I not only had my Etsy shop, but my website, and I wanted to kind of let that creativity go a little bit crazy, and I did let it go crazy, and I ended up having things like handmade journals. I love writing, and I wanted to make these journals, and I had these hand-sewn journals that I included in my site that I thought, oh, well, that goes with this. This is all self-care. And then I just kind of, and then I thought, well, bracelets. I should have like chakra bracelets or like healing bracelets. And I started kind of losing the focus altogether on what I was doing. What I needed to do, and I eventually got rid of those things after I found out the hard way and after spending a lot of money that they indeed were not working, was go back to what I knew, and what was working for me was the soaps and the creams. To this day, I feel like I have a little bit too much in terms of products, and I'm trying to scale those back. These are men's soaps. I added men's soaps later. It requires a whole different branding than my other boxes. Let me grab one of these boxes. You can see my women's have more of like a floral pattern, and these have kind of like a birch tree pattern on them. So all of these things, when you're developing new products, it costs money. You have to think about planning. You have to have a designer working if they're doing that for you. You have to have more ingredients than you would need typically. You will be slower to scale your business because you can't order things in bulk if you have a million different things and you're constantly ordering to keep a variety of products in stock. So had I done it differently, I would have started with soaps and creams, and I may have even just started with one of the two. I do love these products equally, and they do work really well together. I have created many gift sets and things out of these products, so it has worked out for me. But I would caution you to really think about what it is you want to focus on and be really good at it. So for example, if you want to have a handmade journal shop, have a handmade journal shop. But you want to keep it cohesive. You want your customer to be able to look at your shop and say, okay, this is Second Spring Naturals. This is whatever your shop is, because things kind of, they go together, they flow. You know, it's all a specific type of journal that's going to appeal to a certain customer. And you're able to buy paper in bulk and thread and chipboard and all of these things because you are not letting your mind and your product line wander everywhere. You're not adding in bracelets and having to buy a bunch of beads and wires and you know, keep all of this in stock. It doesn't work. It doesn't work inventory wise, financially, and it also doesn't work for your brand. So while today I have soaps and I have creams, but I also sell things like whipped soaps and lip balms and bath bombs. They're all still very, very true to what my brand is, and because my brand has also become known as a company that ships a lot of gift sets, I need those things to go with it. They all work together. That said, it's still difficult to manage inventory when I have a lot of different scents of my soap and of my creams, that kind of thing. So say you want to start with just one product. You're starting a soap business and you want to make handmade soap. Don't try to, or don't allow yourself to make 50 different kinds of soap and with different labels and different ingredient needs and different fragrances and colors and all the things that you would need. Don't allow yourself to get carried away with that. Maybe think of 7 or 8 tops that you're going to offer at first, and then create some seasonal soaps that you can bring in and out. I now have a line that I use for my wholesale line that is available all year, and it consists of about 5 soaps. And then I am now bringing in seasonal soaps. So if it's summer, I have 3 other soaps that come in, same thing in the fall, winter, spring, so that I can manage my inventory, and the creams follow along with that. You want to keep it as simple as possible so that you're growing your business and not allowing it to just kind of go all over the place, because you'll confuse yourself, you'll confuse your customers, and you won't be known for any one particular thing if you do that.
Talk systems. These don't all have to be perfect when you get started, but getting some of these in place will help you later on. Try to find an accountant who is willing to work with a very small business, somebody who can maybe do your household finances and your business finances together. Get a business account so that your home income and your business income is separate. Get a system for keeping operating procedures. So SOPs are standard operating procedures, and you'll need those later on. Imagine if you were hiring people and you have to teach them how to do every small task in your business. Having this in place as you go along and set them up, just documenting how you do each thing, can be very, very helpful. Decide whether legally you want to set your business up as an LLC. This helps legally to separate your personal income from your business income, and it is not as hard as you think it is. Register your business name. Get a system, even if it is just a spreadsheet, and it can very well be a spreadsheet, to manage inventory so that you're keeping track of what's coming in, what's going out, what your cost is of goods sold, things like that. You need to know all of these numbers, and most people don't have these things in place before they get started. So this is something that I would advise. All of these points if you're able to get these things in place and then launch a business to an audience who's ready to buy, this can help you and save you so much time. Any new business is still going to take time to build and to grow. However, this hopefully will save you a lot of time that I wasted in the beginning stages.